A medical helicopter is in the middle of a life or death emergency when the pilot sees something that shouldn't exist. Three massive dark shapes hovering in a perfect, impossible triangle. No transponders, no radar signature, just a silent, rhythmic throb that forced a life-saving mission to abort. For weeks, these car-sized swarms didn't just fly, they dominated. They circled nuclear plants, shadowed Coast Guard vessels, and vanished into the Atlantic whenever the military closed in. The FBI arrived with the most sophisticated tracking tech on the planet, and they found nothing. We were told it was just hobbyists. But if that's true, why was the military authorized to use deadly force? And how did the most guarded airspace in the world suddenly belong to someone else? Today, we're closing the loop on a mystery that paralyzed the East Coast. This is how we lost control of our own skies. The Picatinny Arsenal, a high-security military research facility, reported a drone incursion, then another, and then the swarms arrived. You're sitting in your backyard in Morris County, looking up, expecting to see the North Star. Instead, you see a formation of lights that shouldn't exist. They move with a predatory grace, hovering over your neighbor's roof before drifting toward the local reservoir. At first, we laughed it off. We called it a drone scare, but the laughter died when the reports shifted from small hobbyist toys to objects the size of SUVs. These weren't the drones you buy at a tech store. These were industrial, silent, and seemingly indifferent to the laws of physics. They sat over water towers and power grids for hours watching. And as the sun went down every night, the feeling of being watched turned from a curiosity into a cold, visceral dread. The sky, which had always been a ceiling of safety, suddenly felt like a floor for something else. Between December 2024 and the early weeks of 2025, the FBI received over 5,000 reports. The evidence suggests these weren't misidentified stars. Congressman Chris Smith reported that a dozen drones, some with 8-foot wingspans, actually chased a 47-foot Coast Guard motor lifeboat off the Jersey shore. Imagine being on that boat, miles from land, in the pitch black, with 13 dark shapes tailing you, matching your every turn, silent and relentless. Then came the most disturbing detail of all, the gray mist. In several separate incidents, witnesses, including law enforcement, reported drones spraying a fine, metallic fog over residential areas and infrastructure. Official reports later tried to claim it was wingtip condensation from propeller planes. But planes don't hover 200 feet above a reservoir in a dead calm. The tempo of the sightings increased. They were spotted over the Salem nuclear power plant, the Bedminster golf course, and even the Brooklyn Bridge. The FBI's Newark office admitted they were baffled, and the FAA enacted emergency flight restrictions backed by the threat of deadly force. The message was clear. The government didn't know who they were, where they came from, or what they were looking for. By late January 2025, the narrative shifted. The White House stepped to the podium and dropped a bombshell that satisfied no one. They claimed the drones were authorized by the FAA for research. Think about that. If they were authorized, why did the FBI spend millions of dollars and thousands of man-hours trying to track them? If they were private companies, why didn't those companies come forward to avoid being shot down by the military? This is where the rabbit hole turns into a void. Dark theories began to circulate on the fringes of the internet. Some pointed to motherships, massive submersible drone carriers lurking in the deep trenches of the Atlantic, launching swarms that the FBI's radars simply couldn't see. Others believed this was a dry run for a new type of techno-terror, a test of the nation's psychological and electronic defenses. If a foreign adversary or a shadow corporation can paralyze a major U.S. state for months with a few hundred drones, they don't need missiles. They need to own the air above your head. The mysterious drone terror proved that our impenetrable airspace is a sieve. The most terrifying realization isn't that someone is watching. It's that the people paid to protect you are just as scared as you are. The sightings have slowed, but they haven't stopped. Officials may call it mass hysteria, but for those who saw a car-sized shadow hovering over their homes, that explanation is a lie. The drones are still there, smaller, smarter, and more integrated than ever. We've traded our security for a sky we no longer recognize. So look up tonight. Is that a star or a lens? Is that the wind or a motor? Tell me your opinion in the comments below.